Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, and I'm here with another Friday Reads. First, a quick update. Just wanted to share with you, since my channel also includes travel and nature, that we managed a small weekend getaway last weekend. So we just, things have been very stressful here. I'm still trying to recover from COVID in January. My father-in-law's in a nursing home nearby and we visit every day. A lot of stresses. So our son took over granddad duties for the weekend and we were able to get away, which we really needed. All we did was rent a little Airbnb cottage, less than an hour from home. It's an area that we've driven through before, but had never really explored, and it was just what we needed. So I'll show you some photos of the little cottage we stayed at, which was perfect, a wonderful respite. And while we were there, we ate in some wonderful restaurants. Our first foray back into restaurants in quite a few months. One place actually had individual tents set up outside with heating, so that was pretty cool. And of course, I found a bookstore to visit, the Wellington Square bookstore in Exton, Pennsylvania. So I'll show you a picture of that too. So, oh, and I promised a bit of nature as well. The weather was terrible. It's almost April and yet it snowed while we were there this weekend. Snowed and sleeted both days, but we did manage a short walk at a state park that was nearby, along a reservoir. So despite the gray skies and the cold, we really didn't think we'd be out in our winter coats and hats and gloves again this year. We did enjoy a nice walk, and I'll show you a couple of pictures of that too. Okay, so on to what I'm reading. I am reading This Tenderland by William Kent Krueger, and I am loving it so far. I've been hearing so much about this author from my friends and, other people that read online, on BookTube, on Twitter, all over the place. And I had never read him before. So this book is our All County Reads book for this year. They choose a different book and author each spring. So the author will be visiting and giving a talk. And because of that, my neighborhood book group chose it as our April selection. I'm loving it so far. I'm making my way pretty quickly. So it is set in 1932 during the Depression. It begins up in Minnesota, rural Minnesota, and it's about a group of orphans. There is Odie and his brother, I want to make sure I get the names right, Arthur? I think Albert. I was close. Albert and Odie are sent to an Indian training school, and you may have heard of these back at that time. It was where Indian children were sent basically to turn them white and get the Indian out of them. Now, Odie and Albert are white, but because they were orphaned in this local area where the Indian school was, that's where they were sent. rather than to an orphanage. So they're there. There's another boy there who's also an Indian, who is an Indian rather. He was found abandoned as a baby. So the school, the people who run the school named him Moses. Now Moses, when he was found with his tongue cut out. So he can't speak. But luckily, Odie and Albert know sign language because their mother was born deaf. So they teach Mose sign language. So these three kids are pretty good friends. This Indian school is horrible. It's run by some really cruel people and who have hired some really cruel people. There are a couple of good-hearted people that work there that do their best to save the kids. But overall, it's a pretty terrible place to live. So I will skip over a bunch of spoilers, but where I am now in the book, those three plus a 6-year-old girl named Emmy have just escaped in a canoe floating down the river. Now they know that the river near their school eventually joins the Mississippi, and they don't know where they're going, but things have gotten really bad and they're just escaping. It's just wonderful so far. I love the characters. It's completely engrossing. The setting is very immersive, and I'm really loving it. So that's This Tenderland by William Kent Krueger. Now on audio, I only just started my audiobook last night, so I don't actually know much about it. But I did not get to read a classic in March, so I decided to start a classic. So this is called The Lost World. It's by Arthur Conan Doyle. It was published in 1912, and it is not a mystery or detective story. It's not Sherlock Holmes. It is science fiction. So I didn't even realize that Doyle had written any science fiction. And just from the blurb at the beginning, from what I understand, this is about a reporter who goes to visit this remote area on an African plateau where there are still prehistoric animals living. And I have no idea what else is going to happen, but that's where the science fiction piece comes in. I've just started it. It's interesting so far. I think it's going to really be an engaging story, and I'm looking forward to that. So that's The Lost World by Arthur Conan Doyle, a classic published in 1912. So that's what I'm reading this week. Let me know in the comments down below what you're reading. I would love to hear about it.